If freedom failed. We'd like to take you on a visit to a town that doesn't exist. A town we call Springfield, USA. We'd like to show you how things would be in any American town if communism took over. This is the story of what happens to a young man with everyday ideals under a communist regime. Mark Stevens plays the role of Randy Felton in The Heavens Fall.
Randy, can you hear me? It's me, Lois. Open your eyes. Look at me.
The pain.
It'll go, darling, as soon as you take these pills. Here's some water.
The woman. The one with the steel rod. Where is she?
What woman?
Had the build of a wrestler, crammed into a uniform.
A policewoman?
Yeah. That's what she was. Only there were two of them. A partner. Him I could handle. That's when she let me have it. From behind.
You must have gotten away on your own, Randy. Mother found you sprawled out against our back door. I had to help carry you in.
It's a good one. The whipped dog crawling back to his ex-keeper. Good thing your mother likes me.
Don't say that, Randy. She likes you all right. But I love you.
You could have fooled me yesterday.
I didn't want to walk out. You made me. But that was yesterday.
Yeah. Yesterday. And look at me now.
I'm looking, Randy. I never stopped looking. Now tell me, how did it happen?
You were around when it all started. Only then I couldn't tell you. It began at the law school when the...
Randy, my boy, I must say I've been hearing nothing but nice things about you. That is, as far as your work here is concerned. I may even take the liberty to predict that someday I shall boast, there goes Randy Felton, one of my brood, and the most brilliant lawyer in Springfield. But as you know, Randy, success adds to our responsibilities toward the community, and I think you ought to...
I know, sir. It's about my holding down that job at nights. The drugstore,
no.
I'm afraid
The Board of Education feels, or shall I say was advised, that tomorrow's generation of budding jurists should prepare itself for the task of enforcing law by affiliating with the party.
Since when have justice and the party become bedfellows?
Randy, you've got to learn to watch your tongue. Such sentiments are dangerous.
I seem to remember a slogan I learned here. Something about there shall be no sword in the hand of justice.
My boy, these days it's not for us to live by slogans, but by the facts that surround us.
And the facts are that only Communist Party members make desirable pupils.
If you wish to phrase it that way. I only wish you'd understand.
I understand, sir.
Then you will?
Don't have much choice. I've come too far to turn back now. Here you are. One reporter's delight. Good to the last scoop.
Thanks, Randy.
Hello, honey.
Hi.
That's all? Just hi?
It's an accepted form of greeting.
Okay, pull up a grouch and sit down.
What grouch?
The one you're bearing.
I'm all right.
Suit yourself. Love someone?
Very much.
Someone I've seen?
Whenever you're shaving.
No? At least the mercury's back to normal. How about a Coke?
Fine.
Now then, tell me, what's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Oh, I should have known better than to listen to those nasty rumors.
Rumors? What rumors?
That you joined the party.
Oh, that.
Randy, you didn't.
You're not so loud. Besides, what would you do if the dean asked you to?
Why, I'd walk out.
Yeah, sure, and jerk sodas for the rest of your life.
At least you'd keep your self-respect.
Ah, there's a pretty phrase, self-respect. I wonder how it'll taste for dinner, or how many ounces it'll take to pay for our honeymoon.
Springfield hasn't got the only law school in the country. I'll go with you wherever you want.
It's not that easy.
Nothing seems to come easy anymore. Like last night. Like last night when you said you couldn't see me because you had to work late, helping Mr. Higgins take inventory. So I came by. Thought I'd keep you company. But the place was all locked up and dark.
So we worked with a seeing eye dog. Just drop it, will you?
I will not.
Hey, Randy, how's about a little service down here?
Yeah, I'll be right with you. Look, honey, I can't explain now. I'll have to wait until I
Now, there seem to be a lot of things you can't explain. Okay, it's just as well. It'll save me the trouble explaining about the job I've been offered in New York.
A job in New York?
And I was going to tell you about the kick I got in turning it down. But now it looks like I'd better take it. Here, for the Coke. I wouldn't want you to miss a dime the next time you take inventory. Goodbye.
If I only could have told you then about how we were trying to help Sanders.
You mean Sanders, who's running for mayor against that commie?
Yeah. Needed a push. Had no campaign funds. Probably the last non-red who'll appear on the ticket in Springfield. Remarkable guy, Sanders. With all the odds against him, he refused to budge. Stood his ground. That's why he needed us more than ever. Then I went to see Bert last night and laid it straight on the line.
It's gonna be rougher than we figured. Looks like the party's out for blood. This being the night before election, police patrols are being doubled. Johnson's got an in with a desk sergeant at the 5th Precinct. He found out that most of the patrols are reserved, staunch party members who managed to get their schedule and they're out of their beat.
Got a cigarette?
Huh? Oh, yeah, here. Pay any attention to what I said.
Every word. Easiest layout you could wish for.
Meaning what?
You don't need me. Any half-baked kid could tack up those posters. You figure the time and the place. That's all there is to it.
I'm afraid not. You gotta work in pairs now, one just for a lookout. Patrol schedules aren't reliable.
Okay. Where's the stuff and where does it go?
Thanks, Randy. I guess you and Joe can handle Barn Street.
I can handle it alone.
I told you, you'll need a lookout.
When I need a nursemaid, I'll ask for one.
Sure, Randy, sure. Only the cops travel in pairs. And if there's trouble, you'll need some extra hands.
There won't be any trouble.
Have it your way. Just time yourself and hurry. Get there before 11. There's a patrol due sometime after that.
Like I said, it'll be a cinch. Yeah, cinch. Like putting an elephant into a phone booth. When I left Bird with the posters tucked under my arm, it was already 10:15. I didn't want company, because I was going to look you up first. Might as well have carried dynamite with a lit fuse and hauled that bundle around the streets. And then it started to rain. It was coming down in buckets. The posters under my arm started to get soggy. So I stopped at Paul's newsstand to get some papers to wrap them with. Paul gave me kind of a funny look, like he knew I was up to something.
Lousy night to be running errands.
All I'm running for is home.
Better not. You'd be crossing up Burton Sanders.
You know?
Heck, kid. Been in on it from the beginning. Wouldn't miss helping old man Sanders for all the vodka in Russia. Hey, where's your lookout?
I don't need one.
You need something. Got a gun?
I'm not the type.
This is a tough setup. Can't go walking around naked. Here, put this in your pocket.
Hey, hold on. I'm not figuring on opening any letters tonight.
A kidder, huh? Only this ain't no time for being smart. The town's crawling with goons.
Yeah, I know, but a knife, I've never handled one before. If an icicle could burn, the knife in my pocket felt like one that did. By then, I really needed seeing you more than ever. I went straight to your house. The rain wouldn't let up.
Randy, my goodness, you look soaked to the skin. Come inside before you catch your death of cold.
Lois in?
She went to a movie. Why don't you take off that wet coat and make yourself comfy? She ought to be home soon.
I can't right now. If it's okay with you, I might come back a little later, as long as she's...
As long as she doesn't take off for New York? There are no more trains leaving tonight. Besides, she hasn't even started to pack.
Do you really think she's going?
I don't rightly know. I think that's more or less up to you.
Up to me. Up to me. That's all I could think about after I left your house again. The rain had stopped. Whatever I moved move I made from there on seemed to come automatically. My thinking wasn't too sharp. If it had been, I probably would have looked at a clock before I headed for the street corner where Bert wanted me to tack up those posters. I wish it would start to rain again. The night was sensitive, too sensitive. The air had been washed too clean to muffle sound. The pavement wore that shiny glaze which brightened shadows. And when I came face to face with the wall that was to bear my posters, I felt like I'd walked onto a stage with thousands of eyes peering at me out of the darkness. My hands felt clumsy as they unrolled the posters. Then it came.
Stay where you are. Keep those hands up.
There were two of them, both in uniform. One wore a skirt. That was about her only claim to womanhood. She was bigger and rougher looking than her male partner.
Well, well. Out late playing politician, eh, Sonny?
There's going to be an election tomorrow, and I'm within my constitutional rights to advocate our candidate.
That's so. Well, if you ain't the one with the fancy lingo. You hear that, Chuck? Mr. Smarty Pants is dragging out the Constitution again. One of the brain boys, that one. The commissar'd love him.
Let's see your identification papers.
What if I won't show them to you?
You will, or I'll...
You'll nothing. Here they are.
Oh, here now. Let's have that knife.
Stay away.
Oh, Brainy's a wildcat. Go to it, Chuck. The kid's bluffing.
Now you wouldn't want to get hurt, would you now? It'll all be over in a minute. I simply reach over like this and then...
And then what?
You play rough, huh?
Chuck, the knife!
I can't. My wrist, he's got it. Get the pipe. Hit him. Ow!
You little runt, I'll teach you to...
The ground under me turned to pudding. I had to stay on my hands and knees to keep from sinking into it. I didn't know how I mustered the strength, but I did. And an upward kick with one foot set the big woman reeling against the wall. I heard the lead pipe bounce on the pavement. Then I ran, stumbling, but I ran. Didn't know where, didn't know how, I just ran.
Randy, I wish I'd known.
You said something about going along, wherever I'd go. You still want to?
Want to? Do I want to breathe?
But we have to go separately. I'll go first. I'll get word to you somehow, through Bert.
I don't care. Only leave town immediately. They must be looking for you everywhere.
Yeah, only
Only what?
nothing.
You mustn't stop anywhere.
Today's election day. If things go well, I might not have to leave.
Darling, let's face it. What are Sanders' chances outside of a miracle?
None. And the age of miracles is over.
Hey, Randy, what are you doing here?
Same as you. Waiting in line to vote.
You nuts, the whole goon squad's looking for you.
They haven't got my name yet, have they?
No, but they can't mess with that description. Got you down to a T.
Next, please. Step forward.
Don't worry. I'm skipping right after this. Yes, sir.
Name, please?
Randy Fulton.
Let's see. Felton. Ah, here we are. Registered as living at 86 Dayton Way.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's your ballot.
Thanks.
Are you familiar with the procedure?
Sure, I voted before.
Well, there have been a few minor changes since then. Now, if you wish to vote for Hollingsworth of the People's Party, you need not even place a cross behind his name. Merely deposit a ballot in this box right here. Now, isn't that simple?
Yeah, very. But how about Sanders' name? It's not on the ballot.
Oh, well, there's an empty space provided for those who wish to fill his name in, but well, then, of course, you'd have to go to the voting booth over there to do so. But you see, this way we save you all the fuss and bother.
I like being bothered.
Suit yourself, young man. After all, it's still a secret ballot.
Oh, secret ballot, my foot.
Will you please help yourself to the booth? Others are waiting.
Hey, you better oil up these curtain rings. With the use this booth's been getting, they've rusted to the rod.
I'm next. My name is...
Just a minute, sir. If you'll excuse me, I'll have to make a quick call. Be right back. Sergeant Cranker? This is Mr. Decker. About that young fellow you've been looking for. I've got a hunch he's right here. Yes. Voting.
You are listening to The Heavens Fall, starring Mark Stevens. A story of the way things could be if communism took over. A picture of what life would be like under a communist regime in an ordinary American town. A town we call Springfield, USA.
Randy, you've got a visitor.
It's that lawyer they've been sending. I don't want to see him.
Some kind of a professor. Says he's the dean from your law school.
The dean, what does he want? Make more speeches?
No, just offer whatever help I can give.
Last rites are usually administered by a priest.
Please, my boy, give yourself a chance. Embittered emotions rarely turn the wheels of justice.
Ah, nuts. The wheels got jammed a long time
You're
ago.
wrong. Examine the facts, my boy. Regardless of what the circumstances may have been, you did attempt to kill a man. He almost died.
Good.
Now then, if I had tried to kill, and justifiably so, would you not have hastened to my side?
Yeah. If the scales of justice were still in balance.
Well, let's trust that they are. As long as you're on trial, you must retain that trust.
Look, Dean, I realize you're my elder, but hasn't it come clear to you yet that all hopes for such support died in our voting booths? The timid clutch their bread and keep their silence. They close their ears to the cries of those that dare to be strong. Me, I'm neither. I'm just guilty of growing up too darn late. Oh, I know you tried. Thanks.
Ready?
Sure. Which is it, court or scaffold? Not that there's much difference.
Court's waiting.
Randy, you didn't want the lawyer they sent you. It's not too late for me to take over your defense. I can get a postponement, prepare a solid case.
Oh, come now, and deprive me of handling my first and last case? I wasn't that bad a pupil, was I, Dean?
May God bless you, my boy. God bless you.
All right, let's go.
Do you mind if I come along?
Well, it's okay part of the way, but I got to turn him over to the marshal out and back.
Back of what? Are we going to the courtroom?
No, that's been booked up for weeks.
I'll bet.
They're taking over the dance hall across the street. Want more room. Seems you're a pretty important boy.
Dance hall? What's the idea, Dean?
Well, I suppose your case is to set a precedent and discourage any further political crimes.
All the dance halls in town, they had to pick the avenue.
Well, nothing deliberate, I'm sure. It's the closest.
Yeah, the closest. The closest to everything.
In what way?
For Lois and me, we got engaged there.
Hear ye, the 12th District Court of the People in the Soviet States of America is now in session. The Honorable Judge Dawson presiding. All those having grievances, draw near.
Gentlemen, I see the first case on the calendar is the case of the People versus Randolph Felton. Are you ready to proceed?
The government is ready, Your Honor.
I'm ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Felton, you still wish to proceed without counsel?
I do, Your Honor.
Very well. Will the prosecutor call his first witness?
Well, policewoman Jean Barton, please take the stand.
Those other witnesses, who are they? I've never seen them.
They're supposed to have witnessed the crime.
Remarkable how I managed to escape from a street cluttered with this many witnesses.
And such questions should be placed before the court.
Oh, what good would it do?
You have more friends than you think. Give them a chance to show their faces.
The only face I liked seeing, I kept away.
You mean Lois?
Yeah, sure. I'm glad I asked her to stay away. There's too much of the past clinging to these walls. If you listen real hard, you can hear it. Listen.
Was anyone
Can you hear it?
Hear what?
Why, the music. It resounds from the rafters. Like it got lost up there so it could stay. Stay there for always. You can hear it now.
Maybe I can.
Sure. Sure you can. It's just like then, flowing, soft and easy. Like heavy colors that made a picture. Some of it filled out those ugly cracks in the wall. Made them look like they belonged there. Everything belonged just as Lois belonged. You dance nicely. Hold nicely.
I never really danced before. I went through the motions, but never really danced.
I know. It's not the steps. It's that slow beat. The beat of the heart.
Hey, love someone?
Very much.
Someone I've seen?
Every time you powder your nose.
Oh, if all the world were only as safe as it feels in here.
This is our world. Right here.
Maybe today it is. That other world can't come inside. But what happens when we've got to go out and meet it? Tomorrow. What about tomorrow, Randy?
Just stay close, honey. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Tomorrow will take care of itself. Will take care of itself. Take care of itself. Take care of itself. Itself. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Mr. Felton! Mr. Felton, I'm addressing you!
Yeah, but tomorrow didn't take care of itself, did it?
I beg your pardon?
Never mind.
If the defendant finds it within his power to gather his faculties, I'd like to repeat the question.
By all means, do.
Does the defendant wish to question the witnesses?
No questions.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I would like to take the stand and subject myself to cross-examination by the prosecutor.
Has the prosecutor requested your testimony?
No, Your Honor, but under the circumstances, I'm sure the prosecutor will have no objections.
Well, this is highly irregular. However, if the prosecutor finds this agreeable, you may take the stand.
I see no objections.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your name?
Benton Caldwell,
Occupation?
Dean of the Springfield Law School.
Are you familiar with the defendant?
Yes, he's been my pupil. And since it has been my task to build his knowledge and shape his destiny, I feel that I share the responsibility of his actions.
Oh, you mean to say that you subscribe to his dastardly deed of attempted murder?
I object, Your Honor.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that the prosecution is trying to incriminate a witness while the testimony should pertain solely to the case in question.
Objection sustained.
Dean Caldwell, you asked to take the stand. Did you primarily do so to make a statement?
Yes. With the court's permission, I would like to quote a Latin slogan and have the defendant translated.
Permission granted.
Justitia fiat, ruat coelum.
The defendant will rise and translate the words.
Let justice be done, though the heavens fall.
Was the defendant requested to translate these words because possibly he did not understand their true meaning?
On the contrary, I wish the defendant himself to remind the prosecutor of his responsibility.
Your Honor, the prosecution objects strongly to having its integrity questioned in this foul manner. I ask that this witness step down from the stand.
Objection sustained. Will the witness please leave the stand?
Without calling the defendant to the stand, I would like to ask him whether he fully understands the meaning of the words that he has just translated.
I do indeed.
In that case, doesn't your belief in justice prey on your conscience? Does it not fire you to seek repentance and admit the wrong of your criminal act?
It took me 5 years to learn how I could best benefit this community, namely by doing everything to rid it of the red pestilence. It would take me another 5 years to find one single reason why I should not have done what I did.
You mean you would repeat your criminal acts were you given the opportunity?
I would not only repeat them, I would multiply them. And I would do it so precisely because justice must be done though the heavens fall. And today, right here in this very place, the heavens have already begun to fall and shall keep on falling until all of us are crushed beneath.
Your Honor, in order to spare the court any further theatrical recitations, I hasten to make my recommendation as to the defendant's deserving punishment. A mentally unbalanced killer is a trivial menace to society in comparison to this cold-blooded, calculated would-be murderer who admitted right here and now that he would complete the job of killing and keep on killing anyone who would stand in his road of treason against the Soviet government. Nothing but capital punishment could still his thirst for blood. And I thus ask the court to find Randolph Felton guilty of attempted murder in the first degree as well as of high treason, punishable by death.
Randolph Felton, before this court pronounces sentence, do you wish to make a statement?
I do, Your Honor. At the risk of being labeled a dramatist by the prosecutor, to whom sincerity is nothing but an affectation, may I say I consider my life a worthwhile price for freedom. For I am sure this court may put an end to my individual strive for liberty. The new dawn will see thousands of others whose plain, downright sense of human decency will compel them to arise and protest
and protest they will in such growing force that none of the self-appointed few will be able to stem the sweeping tide of freedom.
Order in the court! Order in the court!
Your Honor! Your Honor, if it pleases the court, may I remind the defendant and all those witnessing his underhanded methods of misrepresentation that only recent statistics reveal a conspicuous absence of these thousands that may arise in protest. And where are these thousands? Surely they had no better chance to show their protest than during our recent election. Yet, given that chance, these thousands went to the polls the other day and cast their vote in favor of the Communist Party's candidate for office. Yes, Mr. Randolph Felton. Let the facts and figures speak for themselves. 10,306 citizens voted for the party's candidate, whereby only 10 votes went to his radical and capitalistic opponent.
Correction. Only 10 votes were permitted to go to him.
I repeat, Mr. Felton, 10 votes, 10 citizens protesting. And where are those 10 now? Why aren't they at least here to plead your case? I'll tell you why. They bring to mind a poem about 10 little Indians. In this instance, it would begin, 10 little Indians were standing in line. One of them cheated, and then there were 9. And would end, one little Indian thought killing was fun. He was hanged by the neck, and then there were none. Do you understand, Mr. Felton? And then there were none.
You have just heard what happens to an ordinary, ambitious young man under a communist regime. You have just heard what would happen to any young American if communism ever took over. You think this could not happen? It did happen in communist-occupied East Germany. It did happen to Hermann Josef Flade, who was tried for warmongering and attempted murder. It did happen at the Ulbernhau Ballroom in Germany, where Flade openly defied communism. Hermann Josef Flade was to be beheaded, but the execution was delayed. Flade's voice had been heard by too many. He was finally sentenced to 15 years in prison. You have been listening to If Freedom Failed, starring Mark Stevens as Randy Felton in The Heavens Fall. John Stevenson was Bert, Ben Wright was the prosecutor, Stan Waxman was the dean, and Georgia Kirkwright was Lois. Music was composed by John Hicks, with musical direction by Michelle Perrier. The Heavens Fall was written for If Freedom Failed by Peter Brook, produced and directed by Will Scott. Sergeant Lloyd Eyre speaking. This program has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.